into to start the process to try to come back. And that shit is not a quick process. Shit, figure it out. So they got to get their work visas, their student visas. Yeah, it's not bad. We'll see what happens though.
So today is Veterans Day.
The biggest fight in the war in Ukraine is actually happening right now inside Russia. A video released today by Ukraine's military shows attacks on what Ukraine claims are Russian targets in the Kursk region. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky says his military is fighting against 50,000 Russian forces, including some that Ukraine claims are North Korean troops fighting on Russia's behalf. CNN senior international correspondent Fred Plykins in Moscow. And Fred, this offensive by Russia could deal a blow to what is really Ukraine's only territorial victory inside Russia so far.
They're absolutely right, and the Russians believe that they're going to be able to drive the Ukrainians off of that Russian territory there in the Kursk region. Something that the Russians have said they want to do. Vladimir Putin has said that he wants to do, but he's also said that he's really in no rush to do that either. The Russians are continuing to say that for them the main battlefield is still in the east of Ukraine. Nevertheless, that force out there does appear to be formidable. The Ukrainians are saying that, U.S. sources are saying that, and the Ukrainians are also saying that the North Koreans that are apparently among those Russian military troops on the ground, that those do play a very important role in all of this. They say very important on the actual front line, even though there have been direct battles between Ukrainian troops and North Koreans. But they say just the fact that even in the rear, the second echelon, that there are North Korean troops there, that frees up the Russians to then assault the Ukrainian forces that are there on the ground. The Ukrainians have said, as far as Kursk is concerned, that's an area that they're encouraged into. They don't want to annex that territory. Ukraine does not want to keep that territory, but they do believe that it could be very important as a bargaining chip for the Ukrainians if and when any sort of negotiation with the Russians come around for them to possibly exchange that territory territory in return for an area that the Russians currently occupy inside of Ukraine. And right now, the vibe that we're getting here inside Russia with that incoming Trump presidency is that people are not sure what a new President Trump will bring, but they certainly believe they might be in a good position to end the war on terms favorable to Moscow.
And Fred, the world's attention is on what happens to the Ukraine conflict once President-elect Trump is sworn in for his second term. We know that Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin have had a friendly relationship in the past, but the Kremlin is weighing in now about a report that the two have been in contact recently. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, and they're saying that that report is completely false. And quite frankly, we were surprised earlier today when we had that conference call with the Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov how vehemently the Ukrainians, the Russians, were denying that report. They were saying it's false, it's untrue, completely untrue. So they obviously want to completely say that none of this ever happened. One of the reasons for that, of course, for that is that the president of Russia, Vladimir Putin, he was at a conference in Sochi in the south of Russia when this call allegedly take place. Went on for a very long time. It was till past midnight local time Russia. And at that time, he said he had not had any contact with Donald Trump after Donald Trump was elected, before he takes office. However, he did say that he was willing to speak to Donald Trump even before he takes office. And he did say that a lot of the things that Donald Trump said in the campaign trail, for instance, wanting to end the war in Ukraine, wanting to normalize relations with Russia, that those were things that obviously were very interesting for the Russians. So they certainly seem to be wanting to build relations once again. There certainly is some hope of the incoming Trump president.
CNN's Fred Blanket in Moscow. Thank you so much. Why are there wildfires in the New York metro area while we're on the ground? What's fanning those flames, which have turned deadly? Stay with us. Attention, small business owners. Do you need funding for your business? At LendSeek.com, we provide revenue-based working capital programs from $20,000 to $1 million. So whether it's funding for inventory, equipment, expansion, payroll, or other needs, seek no more. All it takes is just one simple application to access over 100 funding products that are powered through our breakthrough AI-enabled lending platform to get you the best options in today's marketplace. If you've been in business for at least 1 year with monthly revenue of at least $50,000, you're going to receive the business funding you need when it matters most, regardless of your personal credit score. Funds in your account in just 24 hours with no collateral, no prepayment penalties, and no restrictions on how you use the funds. There's no obligation and zero out-of-pocket costs. So apply for the business funding you need today at LendSeek.com. That's LendSeek.com. Dude, guess how much I paid for $1 million term life insurance policy? Gotta be at least $150 a month.
Wrong, my friend. I got coverage through Ethos. Only $65 a month, and I didn't need medical exam. Just answered a few easy health questions.
That's impressive. But I'm shocked you have life insurance.
But you don't? Come on, man. You have a wife and kids. What if something happens to you? Trust me, or better yet, check out some of their reviews. Ethos is A+ rated on the BBB and excellent on Trustpilot. Once you sign up, they can start your coverage the same day with policies as low as $1 a day.
Wow, I'm sold. I'm signing up right now. Ethos, a fast and easy online experience. Policies for every budget and up to $2 million in term coverage with no medical exam. Just a few health questions. Get your free quote at applyethos.com. E for easy, E for ethos. At applyethos.com. That's applyethos.com.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for these card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call
way
the
back there in the mountains.
at 800-474-1867. 800-474-1867. Again, that's 800-474-1867.
Have you ever tried something for the first time and wondered how you ever got along without it? That's how thousands of new Navage users describe their first experience. Once they feel sight is relief and can breathe clearly again, many wonder why it took them so long to experience the Navage difference. Navage uses refreshing sealing and gentle suction to quickly suck out mucus, germs, and other airborne irritants. Stop suffering from congestion and start feeling better again with Navage. Brand new look, same great product. Was plenty to look
Find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chef McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-885-9797. That's 800-885-9797. 800-885-9797.
Randy Zuckerberg means business.
We talk about holograms, robotics, AI. We talk about diversity and tech. So many exciting trends and things to keep our eye on.
Wednesdays at noon Eastern. Fire is on California. Returning strong winds have raised the risk of reigniting the mountain fire, which destroyed dozens of homes last week just north of Los Angeles. And then in New York and New Jersey, ongoing droughts have sparked the Jennings Creek fire, already burning 3,000 acres and killing a volunteer firefighter. Here's Gloria Pasmino with the latest.
From a New York City park to forests across the Hudson River in New Jersey, unprecedented fires are burning across the Northeast, fueled by strong winds and months without significant rain.
Never seen it like this before.
The Jennings Creek wildfire in New Jersey has scorched thousands of acres and is still going. Across New York and New Jersey, 600 wildfires have burned since October.
In my over 50 years of living here, this has been the most significant and probably most potentially dangerous situation I've seen or been involved in.
Dario Vasquez, an 18-year-old Parks and Recreation employee, was killed Sunday while he was responding to a fire.
This is a very dangerous profession. This is a very dangerous incident that we have here.
Strong winds across the region have carried the heavy smoke across New Jersey and New York, leading to air quality and red flag warnings for millions of people. The water supply is also under strain.
October was one of the driest months we've had in recorded history.
A man was charged with arson after he fired an illegal shotgun believed to have sparked a fire in Jackson Township, New Jersey, prompting evacuations in surrounding communities.
My daughter and I, we packed up our important papers and all of our prescriptions and got the dog ready, and when they said go, we were ready to go.
Now, Jacob, we got a little bit of rain here in New York City overnight, but it is literally just a drop in the bucket, considering how many days have been since we got significant drought here, since we got significant rain here in the area. Most of the fire activity is happening across the river in New Jersey. Tomorrow, wind conditions are expected to pick up once again, and that's going to continue making these firefighting efforts extremely difficult. Jason?
All right, Gloria Pasmina, thanks so much. In our Law and Justice League, a guilty verdict today in the Delphi murders case. 52-year-old Richard Allen was found guilty of murdering 13-year-old Abigail Williams and 14-year-old German. In 2017, their bodies were found on a hiking trail in Delphi, Indiana, the day after they were reported missing. Over the course of the trial, the prosecution highlighted Allen's dozens of confessions he made while behind bars. He confessed to the crime more than 60 times, prosecutors say, including to his wife, his mother, a psychologist, the prison warden, and to fellow inmates. The jury deliberated a total of 19 hours before reaching the guilty verdict on all 4 counts of murder and kidnapping. Allen will be sentenced next month and could reportedly receive up to 130 years in prison. On this Veterans Day, a major new move by the White House to cover the healthcare needs of thousands of those who served and have suffered. That's next.
Jon Stewart of the Daily Show News Team are bringing you all the post-election voting. We officially entered into the fever dream portion campaign. No more robocalls. Hello! No more uncomfortable family dinners. Not shaming, just saying. Let's help the American decide what they'll decide next. They know they're mad. They're just not exactly sure which thing they should be maddest about anymore. Comedy Central's The Daily Show. New tonight at 11 on Comedy Central. And next day on Paramount Plus.
The government's employee tax credit refund in a few months is going to expire. In this economy, who can afford to miss out on up to $21,000 per W-2 employee? Yes, up to $21,000 per employee. We get it, no one wants to deal with a salesperson. That's why we automated the entire process online. You simply answer the online questions and submit your application. Go to 1-800-ERC.com. Again, 1-800-ERC.com. Find out if you qualify. You pay nothing up front. We get a small portion of what you collect after you've been paid. If you don't get paid, we don't get paid. This is not a loan. There is nothing to pay back. Even if you took PPP money, you may qualify. Whether you had one W-2 employee or 500, we can help. Not all companies qualify, but many companies do. Go to 1-800-ERC.com. Again, 1-800-ERC.com.
Calling all dog lovers, entrepreneurs, and franchise owners. Are you ready to invest in an opportunity that is disrupting the $140 billion pet care industry? Say hello to Sparkle, not your average dog groomer. A new franchise concept that offers dog lovers quality routine and affordable care 7 days a week, and entrepreneurs the opportunity of a lifetime. Sparkle offers a strong, scalable business model that drives rapidly recurring revenue and provides investors with the opportunity to take a bite out of a rapidly growing, highly fragmented industry. Invest in the Sparkle Grooming franchise today and get full service support from expert franchisers who know how to make business a whole lot of tail-wagging fun. Have questions or want to learn more? Visit sparklefranchising.com today or give us a call at 888-600-4491. That's 888-600-4491. Sparkle, not your average franchise. Yo, 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 Dad is in the house. What do you call the no VPN Black Friday deal, huh? The Block Friday deal. Because you block online threats. Black Friday, Block Friday, get it? It's hilarious. Get the NordVPN Black Friday deal and block online threats now. NordVPN is rated as outstanding on PCMag. Just visit NordVPN.com to discover the benefits of this all-around cybersecurity tool. It will encrypt your online traffic. NordVPN's Threat Protection Pro tool will defend you against web trackers, malicious websites, and malware-ridden downloads. So improve your digital privacy and protection with one simple click. Get the special Black Friday deal at NordVPN.com and enjoy safer internet daily. NordVPN. Cybersecurity built for every day.
Have you had a high-five moment today? High-Five Casino is a social casino where you can win ill-cash prizes from a giant selection of the hottest games. It's always free to play, with tons of exclusive games, live dealer play, community leaderboards, plus free coins every 4 hours and new games every week. Sign up today for a free welcome offer that can get you spinning and winning right away. Only at highfivecasino.com. High-Five Casino is a social casino. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. Must be 21 years or older. Terms and conditions apply.
Is the world's coronation series example already prevented from hunting, fishing, and conservation horses on the street?
News, weather, and the commodity markets.
Sirius XM, it doesn't matter where you are in North America, it's always there. They'll have it in their trucks, in their combines, in their tractors. Rural Radio, channel 147, and Sirius XM app.
Today at Arlington National Cemetery, President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris paid tribute to the nation's veterans on this Veterans Day. The president used the opportunity to announce an expansion of benefits under the PACT Act for veterans exposed to burn pits, Agent Orange, and other toxic substances.
Today, I'm proud to announce that the VA will expand the number of cancers covered under the PACT Act.
And we're joined on this Veterans Day by Veterans Affairs Secretary Dennis McDonough. Secretary McDonough, Dennis, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here.
Nice to see you, Jake. Thanks for having me on.
So some news today, President Biden announced that the administration is going to expand the types of cancers covered under the PACT Act.
which was passed during Biden's presidency. And so the benefits, healthcare benefits, will be expanded to. That was for burn pits, but now also it's going to be expanded for others, other toxic substances. What can you tell us about that?
Well, the president announces that he's expanding service connection for every rare cancer we can establish a connection to. So it's really important news to say to those veterans, including our veterans who served in Karshi-Kanabad in Uzbekistan, that where we have those rare cancers, we're going to connect them to their service there. They served in that area, Jake, and in a real toxic soup of asbestos and all sorts of crazy substances. They did that at great risk to themselves very early after the attacks of 9/11. And what the president did today is announce that he recognizes the importance of their service and that we're going to make sure that we connect those rare cancers to their service.
What do you think President Biden's legacy will be, your legacy will be, when it comes to helping veterans? Do you think it will be the PACT Act, which obviously is a huge achievement?
Yeah, well, look, this has nothing to do with me. This has everything to do with the president, who, as I said today, he and Dr. Biden are a military family themselves, the surviving parents of Major Bo Biden. The thing I think that people will look back on at this period is that there is a new VA. The VA brought itself to veterans rather than expecting veterans to change their lives to fit into VA, which has been the expectation for too long. And that's been manifest in a lot of different ways, including this year 131 million care appointments across VA. And those are appointments by telehealth, in person. We're making sure that this care gets to veterans rather than expecting them to get to us.
You know a story that we cover a lot on the league. We cover veteran stories in general. We cover veteran homelessness a lot. There's a specific story out of Los Angeles that we cover a lot with our reporter Nick Watt about veteran homelessness. The VA has been involved in an ongoing court fight over land in Los Angeles that was donated to the government back in 1888. Specifically to be used to house veterans who need housing, and the VA has been ordered to put up 750 temporary housing units for homeless veterans, but the VA claims the cost of those units will cause irreparable harm to the VA. I have to confess, I'm just confused by the position of the VA on this. It seems like a no-brainer, and it seems like in keeping with what you've done with the PACT Act and the like. I'm surprised you're on the other side of this.
Yeah, well, thanks so much, Jake. To your first point, you cover a lot of veteran stories here. That's why I was thrilled to get the invitation to come. I really appreciate the reporting that you do on this, the writing you do on this. I think you've lifted up our veterans in a uniquely powerful way. One. Two, as it relates to Los Angeles, our decision to appeal a part of the judge's ruling there reflects the following. Over the course of the last year, we have permanently housed in the United States about 48,000 homeless veterans. The president announced today that the level of veteran homelessness across the country today is lower than it's ever been. It's down something like 56% since the recorded high in 2010. So we're making good progress. The judge's ruling in Los Angeles would have us take new housing that's not part of our existing MAP plan. Under the existing master plan, we've gotten hundreds of new units built on the facility in Los Angeles. We've permanently housed in the last year 1,500 homeless veterans in Los Angeles. This would redirect resources not only from Los Angeles and San Francisco, but from across the country into not previously arranged for efforts. And every day today in Los Angeles, every day we have available transitional housing for homeless veterans. So we think it's not consistent with a plan that is working well, and a plan that we take deadly seriously, and that we've shown, as the president announced today, is reducing veteran homelessness. And we're not going to stop until we get to zero homeless vets.
Before you go, I just want to ask you a philosophical question. As you probably know, every year I run a charity auction on eBay to raise money for a great charity called Homes for Our Troops.
All in the grass.
Which builds specially designed mortgage-free homes for the most severely wounded veterans from Iraq and Afghanistan. And every time I do it, some
person on Twitter, and I don't think they necessarily mean it in a disparaging way, but asks, why does a charity have to do this? Why do celebrities have to donate? Why is an anchorman running? Like, why isn't the United States of America just automatically providing this specially designed home for somebody who lost his legs in Afghanistan? And I know, point it up or up to you, and you can snap your fingers, you would do that. But what is the answer for that? Why don't we do everything we can as a society to help people who have lost so much for our country?
Like we have a program at VA called the Specially Adapted Housing Program that's has grants, that has millions of dollars a year investing in houses specially adapted for those veterans.
But it's not enough. Because if it were, then homes for our troops wouldn't exist. You know?
Right. Well, and what we also see is places like homes for our troops. And again, that's one of the things I really admire about you and about what you've dedicated your professional life to. That is adding to this overall effort. We are continually looking for additional resources, additional partners to make sure that no veteran is left. You know, we say this phrase "homeless veteran" should not exist in the English language in America. And so the philosophical point is we're going to keep investing every dollar that we get from Congress on this. We'll continue to partner with organizations like yours, and we won't stop until every veteran has a house over a roof over their head.
But implicit in that is an important message, which is who has the purse strings in Washington D.C. and the answer is Congress. Dennis McDonough, VA Secretary.
Well,
you're not going to let that go.
I don't want to disparage Congress, because Congress has been very aggressive on homelessness to Republicans and Democrats getting the kinds of numbers we've seen. And, you know, President Biden has led the way.
Okay.
And so, you know, the philosophical issue is, on specially adaptive housing, we can always invest additional resources. Those resources we get from Congress, we're really careful with. We want to make sure we're doing our part on, and we thank our partners like you in making that happen.
All right. Secretary of Veterans Affairs, Dennis McDonough, thanks for all you do for veterans. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Jake.
A lawyer working with the Trump transition team issues a chilling warning to career Justice Department prosecutors. We'll tell you what he said next.
Never a blue Christmas here. Sirius XM's Jolly Christmas is the channel that delivers joy to the world with a sleigh load of hand-selected, high-energy holiday tunes.
Oh, shut up, the Rico shit.
If it's not in your industry yet, it's coming.
P-O-S-C-H-E-N.
But AI needs a lot of speed and computing power, so how do you compete without costs spiraling out of control?
Welcome to
the next generation of the cloud, Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, or OCI. OCI is
deep dive behind the scenes,
Everything.
explaining how the campaign was
Everything.
seemingly broken from the beginning, also going into the series of decisions that led to a massive electoral defeat.
I can't say anything,
U.S.
bro.
political universe is right now in West Palm Beach, Florida. Sources tell me that foreign leaders, contractors, and people seeking high-powered cabinet posts in the next administration have descended upon Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort, filling hotels and rental properties as they try to get FaceTime with the president-elect. The lobbying going so far that club members say they've been offered money to bring people into Mar-a-Lago in hopes they can rub elbows with Trump insiders. CNN's Elena Train is down in West Palm Beach, Florida. Elena, tell us what you're hearing about the meetings happening there as the second Trump administration starts to take shape.
Well, Jake, that island behind me where Mar-a-Lago is to try and cut off access to some of the more controversial figures who could Mar-a-Lago and meeting with Donald Trump, people who work with him. She's kind of like the grown-up handling all of this. Remember, she was in control of the flight manifest for Donald Trump's private plane when he flew around state to state for his defense, for Donald Trump's private plane when he flew around state to state for his different rallies. It was a similar role then, trying to make sure that people they want to be seen with Donald Trump are inclined to do the same thing now happening at Mar-a-Lago.
And Elena, you've got some new reporting about the role that billionaire Elon Musk was playing in the transition.
That's right. Elon Musk has essentially been at Mar-a-Lago and with Donald Trump virtually every single day since the election. Donald Trump was on stage during victory remarks, but he's also been an omnipresent person at Mar-a-Lago over the past couple days. Continue to try and find any sort of influence with Trump. I think what's particularly notable about this is we saw Elon Musk yesterday, shortly after Donald Trump had called for whoever the next senator would be to agree to recess appointments. Elon Musk then went out and supported Rick Scott. So I think I've watched all of these conversations that are happening with a lot of people scrambling to get to know Elon Musk very well, noting that his influence on Donald Trump is very great right now.
All right, Elena Train in West Palm Beach. Thanks so much. President-elect Trump is wasting no time naming names for big jobs in his administration. He's also talking about possibly going around the usual Senate confirmation process for some of his picks. He wants the next Senate Majority Leader to be okay with that. And given the speed with which some of the candidates tweeted that they agree, it might not be an issue. Trump writing on Truth Social, quote, any Republican senator seeking the coveted leadership position in the United States Senate must agree to recess appointments in the Senate, without which we will not be able to get people confirmed in a timely manner. We need positions filled immediately. CNN's Manu Raju. I'm sorry, that's what I do. That's what I do, and it's all caps. I'm just trying to, for the people at home. CNN's Manu Raju is joining me now. Manu, this would be a seismic shift for the Senate to just willfully say, okay, we're going to go into recess. Go ahead and appoint whoever you want.
Oh, like that color on that
Typically something senators would not want to do, to defer power to the executive branch of the White House, but this is
that's the color my dad painted his Chevy Nova when we got the Vegas.
A Republican Senate,
that color right
the Republican leaders are hoping to either win his support or stay out of this critical majority leader contest come Wednesday. So they all quickly fell in line and said they were okay with this idea that essentially short-circuit the Senate confirmation process. Remember, typically the process is that the person gets nominated to the position, there's a background check, then they meet with the committees of jurisdiction, and the committees have hearings, and there are votes in the committees, and there's a vote in the full Senate. The typical advised consent process could take up to about a few months. And on top of that, Donald Trump has up to 53 senators in the United States Senate. Right now, 52, likely to get 53. We'll see how Pennsylvania turns out. That means he could lose up to 4 Republican votes, at most 4 Republican votes, in order to get his nominees confirmed. But Donald Trump says, forget about all of that. Let's just go ahead and have the Senate and go into extended recesses so I can install my nominees directly. Now, this is in the past about 17 years or so since Harry Reid was a majority leader and denied George W. Bush his nominees. Majority leaders have tried to deny the recent appointments by taking procedural moves. He's asking the next majority leader to not do that anymore. And as you heard from both John Thune, John Cornyn, and also Rick Scott, the 3 leaders, people vying for that position, they're saying, okay, President Trump, we'll do what you say.
Yeah, I have to say, in Washington, D.C., people usually don't willingly give up power, but I guess it's kind of par for the course in Trump's Washington these days. What about the Senate leadership? I mean, Elon Musk and others specifically endorsing Florida Senator Rick Scott, as Elena just referred to. Just weeks ago, it seemed like Scott was a long shot. We haven't heard any word from Trump yet on Scott for this time that he's running for majority leader. I think he endorsed him when he ran against Mitch McConnell, but he got clobbered. How is this going to play out?
Yeah, look, Scott is still very much a long shot, Jake, even though the MAGA influencers, the Elon Musks of the world, have come out in support of Rick Scott. This is very much an inside game, one that is built on relationships, on fundraising, on promises that are made for committee assignments and the like, which means that senators vote often on their own self-interest. On top of that, there's a secret votes no. They can just do it privately, vote however they want, and this is why Senate senators really believe that Rick Scott really has a very, he's the underdog of underdogs right now, and it's really John Cornyn and John Thunes to lose. They are probably, it's unclear who has a favorite between the two of them, but Wednesday we'll know who holds this critical position in Washington.
All right, Monty Roger, thanks so much. It's not just the U.S. Senate that could be radically remade under a second Trump administration. In response to a Politico story about Justice Department lawyers expressing concern about serving under Trump again, Mark Paletta, a longtime conservative lawyer involved in the Trump transition, posted, quote, "If these career DOJ employees won't implement President Trump's program in good faith, they should leave. Those employees who engaged in so-called resistance against the duly elected president's lawful agenda would be subverting American democracy. Finally, those that take such actions would be subject to disciplinary measures, including termination," unquote. A lot of sources say he's also been floated for multiple positions in the second Trump administration, including being pitched directly to Trump as a potential U.S. Attorney General. Here to discuss it is Senior Justice Correspondent Evan Pettis, former Justice Department official under President Obama, Elliot Williams. So, Evan, what exactly is Paletta telling Justice Department officials to get on board with just whatever Trump wants?
Right. I mean, he made a list. It was a very long post that he put on social media, but I mean, he's talking about these immigration executive orders. He's talking about taking on cities that are refusing to turn over illegal immigrants to ICE, as you know.
Sanctuary cities.
Sanctuary cities, right,
Yeah.
exactly. Taking on companies that have diversity and equity inclusion policies, DEI policies, which is obviously something that the Trump administration in the first term actually was in favor of, and now is against. And you see, can they help private sue companies that
funding, right? Grant funding.
They can do. There's a lot of power that you have on this, and one of the other things he mentions is pardons for some of the January 6th rioters, people who, according to Trump World, who were political
LiveStream.
We don't know whether that includes people who attacked police officers and Capitol Police on that day, which was a violent attack, by the way. But we'll see, right? And one of the things it's interesting that he does say in this post, Jake, he says, of course, no one will push them to implement flagrantly illegal actions, right? Flagrantly illegal actions. So maybe little illegal. We don't know where this line will be crossed. But Paletta is actually, obviously a very important figure in MAGA legal world. He's someone who is going to land somewhere in the administration, almost certainly. The question is whether he will be leading the Justice Department. We will see.
So most people in the U.S. Justice Department, as I don't need to tell you, Elliot, most of them are career employees.
Yes.
And they're just defense attorneys, prosecuting attorneys, whatever. I mean, like all sorts of things.
Yeah.
Offering their best advice. What kind of impact does this have?
It can have a profound impact. And look, I served under both Republican and Democratic administrations, and there's a shift from administration to administration in tone and focus and priorities. It happens, and quite frankly, that's a good thing. You want different governments to come in and have a shift here. What we're seeing, though, in statements like this is almost a contempt or a disdain for the people who work there. Like you said, Jake, of the 115,000 people, most of them served under Obama and Bush and Clinton or whatever else, and are there for some time serving with distinction. This is a real morale problem that they could have brewing.
Could he fire every single DOJ employee that doesn't abide by what he wants to do, or are there protections?
There are protections. Number one, in law, literally, you have a contract for employment. You can't just fire somebody without cause, number one. Number two, you have workplace guidelines in the Justice Department. I mean, some of these people are unionized. There's all kinds of reasons why you could not just come in and just start firing people on the basis of, at least according to that statement, being a quote-unquote deep state mole or whatever it is.
But it is also true that Trump clearly, admittedly, proudly perceives as the U.S. Attorney General in a very different way than other presidents have talked about the role.
Right. I mean, they've made clear that they view the job as probably the most important cabinet position. J.D. Vance said that it is the most important position other than president. He said that in an interview recently, and so they are approaching it that way. I mean, you can see the people that they're choosing. But here's the thing, Jake. I mean, we just published a story on CNN.com about just frankly his casting call for what everyone I think would call the worst job in Washington, certainly the worst cabinet position, because you come in as a loyalist. If Jeff Sessions came in as a loyalist, meaning all of the things that Donald Trump is talking about, Bill Maher came in with the express reason to try to defend Trump for what he thought was unfair. Where they would not cross. And those lines are whether you want to launch investigations into political enemies. Right. That's where they always end up on the wrong side.
And that, in any administration, Democratic or Republican, is the importance of a non-political, non-partisan career body of officials to work and traverse these different administrations. It's a good thing to have folks who aren't political.
Wild times. Evan Pettis, Elliot Williams, thank both of you. Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez of New York has a question for split-ticket voters. How could someone support her, vote for her, and also support Donald Trump and vote for Donald Trump? What are the reactions that she got for that question? That's next.
Santa baby, bring on the Mary and bring on the bride.
And I remember talking to him, and I forget if I mean, he knew who they were and why they voted for both of them. And it's just an interesting thing. It's obviously something that Democrats need to be doing more of.
It's one thing on a listing tour of that congressional district in New Jersey to figure out what was powering the thought behind, supporting him as a member of Congress and Donald Trump at the time as spillover. And we saw in 2016 where you had a good number of Bernie Sanders supporters, to this point, jump over and support Donald Trump in the general election when he went down. Same with Jamal Bowman in that primary. You saw some of those folks probably go over to the other side and support Donald Trump. It's interesting, these changing dynamics, demographics, things on the ground.
So we talk about the Senate Majority Leader race right now between John Thune, John Cornyn, and Rick Scott, and it is so interesting. Trump wants recess appointments. I don't know how many he wants. I don't know if this is just, I just want these two because we need to get off and running, or if he wants all of them recess appointments. But if it were to happen willingly, it would be the only time that I can remember of senators just giving up power in Washington, even if for a short term. What do you make of it?
I think it's probably more appropriate on a cabinet level than it would be for a judicial level, because obviously the recess appointment only lasts for a couple of years, and he wants those young judges confirmed so they're there for a lifetime.
Right.
So I have a feeling you'll probably see a combination of both. The vast majority of those appointments will sail through the Senate, and there might be a couple that might be a little more outsider that he might go as a recess appointment because they're just not going to get confirmed, or the Senate doesn't want to have to vote for it.
My colleague Burgess Everett just wrote something about this, saying it's ironic because there are a lot of hurdles that you have to go through to create this, and at the same time it actually delays the process even further. So if he wants to put forth this 100-day agenda, it kind of flies in the face of that.
What I remember early on in the first Trump administration, I was in the Senate dining room having lunch with somebody, and a very conservative Republican told me that Rudy Giuliani, who wanted to be Secretary of State, he's not getting Secretary of State. There's just way too much in his background, this and that. And it was a stopgap on, they weren't trying to stop Trump. They thought that Rudy Giuliani had too many conflicts of interest. There's a reason for the advice and consent.
Exactly. They took their role of advice and consent very seriously. And what are these individuals that can't get in a 53 GOP Senate? This is the largest Senate, leadership gap that we've seen in a long time. Who are these individuals that he thinks can't clear 50, 51, 52, 53 votes and lead a cabinet department? That, I think, speaks volumes. But as you rightly said, within an hour, 2.5 hours, each of these
on a different cable channel, Kash Patel as CIA director. Have you seen that? I don't know if that's real or if that's being floated. But like you're asking, who can't get through a 53 Republican? Maybe Kash Patel. I don't know. Maybe he can. But that would certainly be an edgy pick, right?
It'd be out there, yeah.
Thanks to all. He sounded the alarm ahead of Trump's first impeachment and was just elected to Congress. So what does Congressman-elect Eugene Vindman think about the Trump-Putin relationship and what we're going to see after the president-elect takes office? I'll ask him next.
Are you like millions of Americans who avoided filing their taxes this year because you're afraid you'll owe the IRS thousands, tens of thousands, or even hundreds of thousands of dollars? Well, you don't need to be afraid anymore. Tax Relief Advocates has the solution. We can file your back tax years and may be able to reduce or even eliminate what you owe. With over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, we've helped over 100,000 Americans really and painlessly resolve their IRS debt. A riddle waiting to speak to you now, who will let you know what tax debt reduction you may qualify for. Don't wait. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call our tax relief hotline now to see what you qualify for at 800-277-4619. 800-277-4619. That's 800-277-4619. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
The government's employee tax credit refund in a few months is going to expire. In this economy, who can afford to miss out on up to $21,000 per W-2 employee? Yes, up to $21,000 per employee. We get it. No one wants to deal with a salesperson. That's why we automated the entire process online.
Got a dude,
Simply answer the online questions to submit your application. Go to
Rostock, Germany.
1-800-ERC.com. Again, 1-800-ERC.com. Find out if you qualify. You pay nothing up front. We get a small portion of what you collect after you've been paid. If you don't get paid, we don't get paid. This is not a loan. There is nothing to pay back. Even if you took PPP money, you may qualify. Whether you had one W-2 employee or 500, we can help. Not all companies qualify, but many companies do. Go to 1-800-ERC.com. Again, 1-800-ERC.com.
California Closets just custom designed. Obviously, strictly in Georgia. Tons of shines for books. Plenty of seating for being light. Drawers higher than those even more pillars. So it's not like a living room. It's more like a living room. California Closets. We did it for Molly and we can do it right here because we're doing it differently. Schedule your free design consultation now at 800-CAL-CLOSETS or CaliforniaClosets.com.
Are you working out, eating healthy, doing all the right things, but still not seeing the right result? Well, it can all be down to your metabolism. But now, there's a way of understanding how your nutrition and lifestyle fit into a bigger picture. Learn how your body shifts from burning carbs to burning fat for energy with Lumen.
Oh, you're going my wife 300.
Lumen.me right now for 30% off. Lumen is the world's first handheld metabolic coach. It takes just a single breath.
Oh, this is pink unit.
Analyzes your
They
metabolism.
didn't take care of it.
If you're burning fat or carbs, it gives you tailored guidance to improve nutrition, workouts, sleep, and stress management. There's no one-size-fits-all solution. Get something tailored to
cute
your
little Bronco.
body's needs with Lumen. Go to lumen.me today and get 30% off. Plus, listeners can get an additional 50% off by using promo code CNN. That's promo code CNN at lumen.me to get an additional 50% off your first purchase today. LUMEN.ME, promo code CNN.
Ready to boost your brand and reach decision makers? Advertise on SiriusXM. You can amplify and optimize your campaign while growing ROI, sales lift, foot traffic, and conversions on targeted, passionate, and engaged audiences. If you're listening now, so are your customers. Get closer to what moves them. Learn more about how advertising on SiriusXM can benefit your business. Dial pound 250 on your mobile phone and say SiriusXM advertising for more information. Again, dial pound 250 and say SiriusXM advertising.
80s and 90s pop, so soft and nostalgic. It'll have you decorate your kitchen with country geese, mom jeans. One of over 200 extra channels on the SiriusXM app.
We're back with our world-leading serious questions about how President-elect Donald Trump is going to handle Russian President Vladimir Putin and Putin's war in Ukraine.
Putin, I'm gonna put a tariff on you.
Rather than the minutes spoken since Tuesday's election, legendary journalist Bob Woodward reported that Trump and Putin spoke as many as 7 times since Trump left the White House in 2021. Trump has, we know, however, spoken with Ukrainian President Zelensky. Let's bring in Congressman-elect Eugene Vindman. He's a Democrat from Virginia. He's also a retired Army officer. White House National Security Council ethics official and the twin brother of Alexander Vindman, whose testimony was key in Donald Trump's first impeachment. First of all, Congressman-elect, congratulations on your win. We'll talk politics in a few minutes, but first, given what you know of Donald Trump and given your concern about Ukraine, what do you think the Trump-Putin relationship looks like over the next 4 years? What do you think is going to happen in Ukraine?
Well, first of all, Jake, thanks for having me back, and it's been quite a whirlwind week. Look, as it relates to Russia, Ukraine, the U.S., the relationship is quite fraught, and I think that the former and future president didn't quickly realize that he is offered a settle this war within 24 hours. Probably there is interest from Vladimir Putin to settle this war on any terms that would be remotely acceptable to the Ukrainians, to the Europeans, and we'll see whether they're acceptable to the U.S. and the new administration. But it's a zero-sum game for the Russians. Their interests are right now to make sure they win in Ukraine and get as much territory in Ukraine as possible.
What concerns do you have, if any, about Elon Musk joining those conversations between President-elect Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky? We know that Ukraine has really relied heavily on Musk's Starlink satellite system for communication.
Look, what we saw in the previous administration and what we can anticipate in the future administration is that things are not going to go as people expect. The norms that we see in a Biden type administration, we're not going to see. And so we got to get used to some level of chaos, some level of unpredictability from the future Trump administration. That includes having people like Elon Musk on the phone talking to Zelensky in Ukraine. It's concerning. Obviously, the conflicts are enormous. He has Starlink that's operating in Ukraine. He has enormous U.S. government contracts, and so I'm concerned about it. Elon Musk at one point had his own plan for peace and a peace plan for Ukraine and Russia. I don't know what that looks like, but it's concerning.
Turning to domestic politics, you won a tight and very expensive contest in a swing district, the congressional seat given up by Congresswoman Abigail Spanberger, who's going to run for governor next year. What do you make of the election results? In general, Republicans ran much more strongly than many people expected.
Well, I'd say that's true, certainly in the presidential race, but, maybe not so true in congressional races. Congressional races are intensely local races. I ran on a very high-quality public school. Federal government jobs. So overall, actually, I think the House is, if there's a loss, it will be very narrow. Whoever has the House will be controlled by one or two, less than a handful of votes. And so, my race here in the suburbs of Washington, D.C., actually, I've heard from a number of people talk about it as a one bright spot and really a dark, on a dark night. And it's one of those suburban districts that's always a toss-up. So we present, frankly, a good model on how we need to interact with voters, whether you're independent, Democrat, or Republican in this district.
If you end up being in the minority, you're going to be the most, one of the most powerless people in Washington, no offense, but you'll be a freshman in the minority. What's your plan for getting things done for your district aside from on the constituent services level? Are you going to find a Republican and team up with Republicans so you can get bipartisan legislation through?
Look, I'm not interested in some sort of resistance where I was elected by 51% of people in this district, and also the 49% that didn't vote for me. They expect me to be effective and to work on their behalf, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to look for opportunities to operate in a bipartisan manner on things like education, infrastructure, and on national security issues. I think there's going to be a lot of interest in that regard. But absent maybe areas like Ukraine, but as far as pushing back on China and looking for opportunities to get peace in the Middle East, we could work on those in a bipartisan manner. But I'm going to continue to work hard on behalf of the people in this district. I'm going to continue to go out to places like the Culpeper Rodeo, NASCAR events, mosques and churches and synagogues. And I talk to voters where they're located and about the issues that they care about. That's what's critical. I think that's what we need to do as a party as we look into the future rather than looking back in the past. And that's where I'm focused.
Well, you represent some lakes now, and I have a term for you if you haven't heard it before. It's called algae blooms. I'll be talking to you about that offline. Congressman-elect Eugene Vindman, thank you so much. Congratulations. We'll see you here in Washington.
Thank you, Jake.
Was the Harris campaign broken from the beginning? That's what some new reporting suggests. We've never before told details about what exactly was happening behind the scenes. The reporter behind those details joins us live next.
Life insurance. What's your excuse for putting it off?
can't afford it, too much hassle, think your work coverage is enough? There's a lot of excuses for putting off life insurance, but one big reason why you shouldn't. If the unexpected were to happen to you, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' tuition, and all the other bills? In a time of grief, the last thing you would want is for your family to have to sell the house and struggle to survive financially. At Ethos, we could get you covered in just 10 minutes, and boom, family protected. Rates can increase the longer you wait, so no more excuses. Take 10 minutes today and discover the modern way to get the life insurance coverage you need. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance, up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at startethos.com. That's startethos.com.
Welcome to today's mini power meditation, guided by Bombas. Now repeat after me. My socks do not have an annoying toe seam. Socks. I haven't had a toe blister in years. Blisters. My underwear never rides up or gives me a wedgies. Everyone is obsessed with how cute and cozy my slippers are, and that's because I wear Bombas, the most comfortably and thoughtfully designed basics that also give back. One purchased equals one donated to someone facing homelessness. Don't worry, you don't have to repeat that whole last part. Now just breathe in, breathe out, and go to bombas.com/CNN and use code CNN for 20% off your first purchase. That's BOMBAS.com/CNN and use code CNN at checkout.
ICP uses a custom blend of FDA medications specifically formulated to restore healthy blood flow where you need it most. In fact, ICP works for 98% of men in just a few minutes, regardless of age or medical conditions. Our telemedicine platform now brings this virtually 100% effective solution right to your doorstep. Medication is good for 1 year, and there's free formula upgrades for those who need more potent results. New patients will receive 10 extra doses of ICP medication for free. For the treatment program, call 800-940-2900, 800-940-2900, that's 800-940-2900, or visit bostonmedicalgroup.com.
What could you do with more confidence? More precision? Would you attack more pins? What could you do with the best combination of flight, spin, and feel? What could you do with a Titleist golf ball that best fits your game? You owe it to yourself to find out. This is SiriusXM. CNN Originals on SiriusXM, featuring CNN documentary series like The Decades, The United Shades of America with Kamau Bell, This Is Life with Lisa Lane, and Parts Unknown. On CNN Originals, channel 453, and streaming on the SiriusXM app.
We're getting new insights from inside the campaign for Kamala Harris as Democrats continue their infighting over her defeat in the presidential election. New reporting from Notice, NOTE, that's a great website, suggests that there's finger pointing and blame gaming at all levels of the Harris campaign over the campaign strategy or lack thereof, decision making or lack thereof, mismanagement or management of funds. Let's bring in Jasmine Wright, who's covering this story for Notice, also with us, CNN's Chief National Affairs Correspondent, Jeff Selling. So Jasmine, per usual, straight reporting, you have a great story describing the Harris campaign as a disorganized operation. It was more reflective of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. She was unable to capitalize on that initial voter enthusiasm. She was unable to make a clear distinction between herself and Joe Biden. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, I think we got a lot of examples to this piece about how the initial campaign under Joe Biden was put together. The fact that it was based off of the fact that, they may not have a lot of voter enthusiasm, not a lot of volunteers, maybe even not a lot of donor money. So they were kind of scrappy, but that meant that it was difficult for people once Harris replaced Biden to scale up and recapture that enthusiasm, capture all that money. We know when Biden was on the ticket, it was difficult for them to staff up. People didn't want to vote for Joe Biden, people didn't want to vote to Wilmington. So that left in people's minds that we talked to people in these key senior roles, potentially 4 or 8 years too junior for that very specific role. So in
deadline in September. After revising that a couple times based off the projections that they made, we've seen a lot of food coming into it, but also some concern, particularly around one person said that they kind of had a gallows for a 9-to-5 work mentality, and that they were very hesitant to take advice from Harris Aides that the vice president brought in once she topped the ticket. Of course, there was just a lot of criticism over the campaign leadership and what the data and analytics team were doing, what they were actually looking at to form their analysis of the race.
So a lot of the aides who spoke to blamed the campaign chair, Jenna Dillon, wanted to own all decision making, they say, for the campaign. At Biden's request, you right, Harris largely kept his pre-existing campaign infrastructure, as you just noted, including keeping Melania instead of bringing her own campaign manager. And aides that spoke with said she created a bottleneck resistant advice, even without the key polling information. Is there unanimity that it's her fault, per se?
Well, I think ultimately what I talked to is that people blame Joe Biden. They blame Joe Biden for staying on the ticket too long. They blame Joe Biden in his initial campaign for being unable to recognize just how deeply upset Americans were about the economy, about immigration, about some of these other larger issues. But they say that these issues under the hood at the campaign, where it's kind of a death by 1,000 cuts, they may have not lost the vice president, but they certainly did not help. And they feel very, very seriously that it did not put the vice president in the best position to win when she changed over in July.
Certainly not. You only have 107 days to run for president. Honestly, certainly sounds like on Joe Biden for not getting out of the race back in 2022, 2023, when he could have allowed a thriving democratic process, a strong primary caucus process, somebody who could separate themselves from Joe Biden.
Look, this was always going to be difficult given the inflation headwinds, but many people agree with Speaker Pelosi. If you look back to the midterms of 2022, that is something that emboldened President Biden. That he thought the message from the midterms where Democrats did not get blown out, that they thought that was a sign that there was some sort of need or market for him. So that was one thing. There's no question the timing and his decisions really affected everything. Also, an over-reliance on abortion rights. That was also a lesson mislearned. A variety of people we've talked to said because it was so successful in 2022, they thought that this was the thing that would really overtake inflation in the economy. It simply didn't. But with young voters in particular, that remains kind of a mystery to this. Just 1% in each of the 3 blue wall states, if you will, in some of these college towns would have made a difference and not appealed to young voters. So look, this failure has 1,000 fathers. There's no doubt. You have to give some to the plan to Vice President Harris, and certainly much more to President Biden.
But you also know that Jasmine Wright's been reporting some of this in the ACA to capture and channel voters' anger. And it's the same point that Bernie Sanders raised. He was on Dan Bash yesterday. He says working class voters have been abandoned by the Democratic Party. And Nancy Pelosi doesn't buy that. But what are you hearing about that and Harris's inability to capture voters' anger?
It's the anger and also just understanding the economic realities of high housing costs. She talked about that, but appearing with the celebrities and others didn't necessarily reflect that.
But piecemeal way, not recognizing the fact that people's rents are so much higher than they were 4 years ago.
For sure. But very difficult to distance yourself from. There's no doubt anger is part of it, but the celebrity culture didn't end up playing so well.
All right, Jasmine Wright and Jeff Zeleny, the Stallion. Next, both of you. He ran and won on fighting inflation. Would Ronald Reagan look at this moment as warning America? I'll speak to his son, Michael, next. Stay right here.
Have you ever tried something for the first time and then wondered how you ever got along without it? That's how thousands of new Navage users describe their first experience. Once they feel sinus relief and can breathe clearly again, many wonder why it took them so long to experience the Navage difference. Navage uses refreshing sealing and gentle suction to quickly suck out mucus, germs, and other airborne irritants. Stop suffering from congestion and start feeling better again with Navage. Brand new look, same great product.
Here's a secret to Mass Mutual success that's not so secret. We earn and keep trust. We build and maintain financial strength and stability. We deliver solutions that meet complex needs. We do right by our customers, our clients, and our policyholders always. And
Ask 9 experts and you'll get 10 answers. It's a bull market. It's a bear market. Rates will rise or fall. Inflation's up or down. Can someone invent a crystal ball? Until then, over 40,000 businesses have future-proofed their business with NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud ERP, bringing accounting, financial management, inventory, and HR into one fluid platform. With one unified business management suite, there's one source of truth, giving you the visibility and control you need to make quick decisions. With real-time insights and forecasting, you're peering into the future with actionable data. When you're closing the books in days, not weeks, you're spending less time looking backwards and more time on what's next. Whether your company is earning millions or even hundreds of millions, NetSuite helps you respond to immediate challenges and seize your biggest opportunities. Download the CFO's Guide to AI and Machine Learning for free at netsuite.com/pro. That's netsuite.com/pro. netsuite.com/pro.
Owner-operators, give your business a boost before the year ends. SFI is offering exclusive end-of-year savings on 2025 Breakliners to make room for 2026 models. A new truck could save your business thousands of dollars every year with better MPG and fewer unexpected maintenance costs. Our trucks are spec'd with fuel-saving features and advanced safety technology to keep your business moving and profitable. Don't wait. Save on 2025 trucks now. Check out sfitrucks.com. That's sfitrucks.com.
Play golf from the comfort of your home with a golf simulator from Ace Indoor Golf. Ace is a leading retailer, designer, and installer of simulators nationwide. No matter your desired budget or cosmetics, we have a golf simulator for you. We offer a free 30-minute consultation and financing to qualified buyers. Now, save 20% on Ace screens, enclosures, brake pads, and gap pads. Use code SERIOUS. Visit us at aceindoorgolf.com and buy your sim today.
You have your year-end goals. Constant Contact has what it takes to help you meet them faster, sell more, raise more, and build real relationships with your audience. With Constant Contact's digital marketing tools, all made to fast-track your success. Book the go in your 2024 goals. With email, social, SMS, and customized marketing campaigns built for you in just a few clicks. Ready, set, go to ConstantContact.com/radio. Start your free trial today.
The Ramsey Show with Dave Ramsey. Call 888-825-5225 and get practical advice from America's trusted voice on money and business.
There's 3 things you can do in life. You can give it, you can invest it, and you can spend it.
Weekdays 2 p.m. Eastern, streaming on SiriusXM app.
You all knew that some things are worth dying for. One's country is worth dying for, and democracy is worth dying for because it's the most deeply honorable form of government ever devised by man.
That was then President Ronald Reagan at a D-Day commemoration in 1984, addressing veterans of the Normandy invasion and obviously praising democracy. 1984 was exactly 40 years after D-Day, and now it is 40 years since Ronald Reagan gave that speech. With us is the late president's son, Michael Reagan, who's also the founder of the Reagan Legacy Foundation. That line about democracy from your father's speech, our exit polling shows that democracy was one of voters' top concerns when we went to the polls last week. What do you think your father would think about the state of U.S. democracy right now?
I think he would think it was in good shape. And in fact, voters went out and they voted their conscience, they voted how they wanted to vote, and their votes were counted. And I think that's important. That's how he looked at democracy. And so he would give a thumbs up to, in fact, what happened, no matter who won on Tuesday. He would look at it and say, listen, this is what our democracy is all about. Every 4 years, we get a chance to make choices who is going to be the president of the United States and lead our country forward. So, yes, he would have been thumbs up for democracy and what happened on Tuesday.
What do you think he would think about the state of the world? Obviously, he was a cold warrior who believed in alliances with our European allies and others. I'm sure he would be no fan of Vladimir Putin. What do you think he would make of the state of global affairs?
Oh, he would look at global affairs much the way many of us look at it, that this world is in turmoil right now because the United States needs leadership, and the world looks to the United States for leadership. Remember, he walked away from Reagan, back in the 1980s. And when Gorbachev wanted to give up SDI or Star Wars, he said, no, I'm walking away. So he walked away from Western leaders. And he knew he had a bit of coalition also to bring down the Berlin Wall. Manufacture, like the lens of Michael John Paul II, he had to build that coalition, and he ultimately did. He brought down the Berlin Wall in 1989. So he would look at what's going on in the world today and say, we really need leadership in America, like he once said. But 4 wars during my lifetime, none of which were started because America was too strong.
You're the founder of the Reagan Legacy Foundation, which advocates for the recognition and care of veterans, which is why we have you here on this Veterans Day. Tell us more about what your foundation is doing.
Well, the Reagan Legacy Foundation really started back when the USS Ronald Reagan, the famous jacket, by the way, was commissioned and christened back in 2001. And my family, Colleen, and actually Cameron and I said, what can we do to help the kids on the ship? And so we started a scholarship program for the USS Ronald Reagan, the kids of them on the ship. But one more, we said, what about those family members at home that are trying to better their education, better their lives? So we provide scholarships also to family members left at home while their loved ones are on the ship, wherever they might be, in fact, in the world. And later on, what we did is we started a brick project, made a deal with St. Mary Glees, Normandy, France, first down free by America. And we started a walkway to victory where people could go online, go on our website, Reagan Legacy Foundation, purchase a brick. It's $250, tax deductible, for a 501c3, put the name of a loved one on it, someone you knew who served in the armed services in the European theater during World War II, and get their name on a brick. We'll put it in the ground, and you can see it when you go visit St. Mary Glees. In fact, in the future, if you don't know anybody, send us a check for $250 in the memo. Just put brick project, and we will do it. And I'm telling you this urgency because the area that we were doing, like St. Mary Glees, to do the brick project, we've actually done a good job. And so we're going to have to stop it and end it on December 31st of this year. So whatever orders we get in between now and December 31st will be in the ground in 2025. People go visit. Now let me tell you, when somebody who served in the European theater walks into St. Mary Glees, goes to that museum and sees their name on a brick, tears come to their eyes because what they see is people care. People support me. I did the right thing. And that is so very important.
All right, well, you're going to order 2 bricks, one for my grandfather who served in the Navy during World War II, and the other one for my great-uncle. We lost in the Air Force fighting against the Nazis in World War II. Michael Reagan, thank you so much for what you do. Appreciate it. Happy Veterans Day to you.
Thank you. And also to you. Thank you for your service.
A passenger plane that departed from Florida was diverted today after it was hit by gunfire. The details next.
Thank you.
Had just begun.
Start doing whatever the hell they want to do.
We're taking hip hop to a whole new level. It was all a dream. Everything was flying. Straight accent fly. R&B for the night.
Oh, it's Florida.
So in fact now, Channel 50 and the Sirius XM app.
Are you working out, eating healthy, doing all the right things, but still not seeing the right result? Well, it could all be down to your metabolism. But now, there's a way of understanding how your nutrition and lifestyle fit into the bigger picture. Learn how your body shifts from burning carbs to burning fat for energy with Lumen. Go to lumen.me right now for 30% off. Lumen is the world's first handheld metabolic coach. It takes just a single breath first thing in the morning, and Lumen immediately analyzes your metabolism, telling you if you're burning fat or carbs, and gives you tailored guidance to improve nutrition, workouts, sleep, and stress management. There's no one-size-fits-all solution.
So who's striking?
Something tailored to your body's needs with Lumen. Go to lumen.me today and get 30% off. Plus, listeners can get an additional 15% off by using promo code CNN. That's promo code CNN at lumen.me to get an additional 15% off your first purchase today. lumen.me, promo code CNN.
Progressive Commercial presents Heroes That Keep Truckers Going. Today's hero, the vending machine restocker who gave you a free energy drink. Was it out of the kindness of her heart, or was it just one less can she had to stuff? Either way, thanks, hero. What else can keep truckers going? Progressive truck insurance with primary liability limits up to $2 million. Get it quoted in as little as 7 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Coverage subject to terms and limits.
miles.
Despite today's uncertainty in investment markets and the political turmoil in our country, there's a huge opportunity for smart investors. Investing in scarce, developable land in Montana has already created fortunes for many. With Montana's famous no-growth stance, property prices in several markets have increased an average of 40% in each of the last 3 years. For 2 decades, Teton Land Development has created new communities in the Rocky Mountains, and we're seeking investors for our latest project in Montana's Flathead Lake, the largest U.S. lake west of Mississippi with over 180 miles of shoreline. It's a mecca for all who love water sports and that beautiful lake lifestyle. Call now for your offering memorandum at 1-800-766-7036 or visit live406.com, where you'll discover all the communities we're developing. That's 1-800-766-7036. This is not an offer to buy or sell securities. The opportunity is made only to qualified investors who request a private offering memorandum which describes the project, the risks, and expenses.
These things not developed by the FDA. This market is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. At Premier Research Labs, we don't just make supplements. We deliver cutting-edge innovation in every bottle. PR Labs is your one-stop shop for plant-based multivitamins and supplements to support healthy aging, managing daily stress, or helping you get that restful night's sleep you deserve. This helps you best. Visit us on Amazon.org. Come to prlabs.com today and enjoy 15 for your first order. Start your journey to a healthier, stronger you at prlabs.com.
In our world today, Spirit Airlines plane was fighting on fire today over Haiti's capital city, Port-au-Prince, prompting Spirit and several other airlines to cancel flights. Remaining flight attendants suffered minor injuries. The Spirit plane from Lauderdale was diverted to the Dominican Republic. In our pop culture lead, not so good news in the land of Oz. The manufacturer Mattel has apologized after accidentally printing the web address of an adult website on the packaging of their newly launched Wicked dolls. The URL was meant to direct customers to the official site for the new Wicked movie. Instead, it went to a porn site. Mattel says it's taking immediate action to remedy the error. In our out of this world, have your wishes ready because tonight everyone has a chance to see shooting stars. The northern torrents have been lighting up the sky since mid-October, but will peak a little after midnight tonight, depending on your location. This note in honor of Veterans Day this week. Today we began the annual Homes for Our Troops Veterans Day auction. You can bid on any number of items, dozens of them. And the money, all proceeds will go to building specially adapted homes for wounded veterans via the top-rated charity Homes for Our Troops. A few items for auction this year. You can get 4 tickets and lounge passes to see Dave Matthews Band in New York City. Let's have a set visit and meet and greet with Will Ferrell. You can play a round of golf with Jason Bateman and Will Arnett. For my fellow Eagles fans, a football signed by running back Saquon Barkley, and much, much, much more. Check it out at ebay.com/HFOT.
Oh, that's going right up a set.
Homes for Our Troops. ebay.com/HFOT. The auction's open for the next 10 days. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, X, formerly known as Twitter, and on the TikTok at Jake Tapper. You can follow the show on X at the lead CNN. The news continues on CNN. With what's in the situation, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Here, maybe this wasn't beaten one thing. Definitely wasn't a trap game. That's a good football team. They made some plays. They have a good game plan. They executed pretty well to put them in a position to win. They found a way to just come out on top with that.
Setting up. Coming is Sacramento Radio.
Lose that game.
Right now on 88. It leads into Monday Night Football as the Rams and Dolphins will wrap up Week 10 from Los Angeles. Play-by-play coverage begins at 8 Eastern. Bears head coach Matt Eberflus says changes are coming for their struggling offense. They're still in evaluation mode. Nothing to announce yet other than rookie Caleb Williams will remain the starting QB no matter what. Joe Flacco will get another start for the Colts while they visit the struggling Jets in Week 10. Dave Canales mum on his starting QB when his Panthers return to the bye. Carolina has one of the last 2 with second-year man Bryce Young at QB. And Giants head coach Brian Dable off the loss to Carolina is now non-committal about Daniel Jones. His starter moving forward says they will evaluate the entire team during their bye week. The latest episode of Let's Go with Bill Belichick, Max Crosby, and Jim Gray includes a special guest, Mike Tyson, ahead of his bout with Jake Paul. You can hear from all of them beginning now on Mad Dog Sports Radio Channel 82. Afternoon, Veterans Day hockey in Buffalo earlier, saw Montreal with the Sabres scores 7-5. 2 goals apiece for Nick Suzuki and Cole Caulfield. The latter now leads the entire league with 12. And from the Sirius XM newsroom, this is Chris LePreston.
If it's happening in sports, it's happening on Sirius XM.
An alarm you may look forward to. This is the award-winning XM Fantasy.
Oh, baby! I am in. Going to walk towards the corner of the end zone and Pickett. Oh, my goodness! What a catch by George Pickett! An amazing catch in the back of the end zone!
The award-winning Fantasy Alarm Show with Howard Vector and General Manager Jim Bowden. Let's do this.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome in. Thanks for joining us here at the Fantasy Alarm. I am Howard Bender. I got the GM, Jim Bowden, by my side. Champlain Fate Kessler on the other side of the glass. Oh, baby. What an NFL Week 10 it's been. Here we are on Reaction Monday. Kind of pick another game tonight. Rams and Dolphins. Let's bring him in here. The GM himself. Jim Bowden. Jim, how are you doing today? How was the weekend for you?
Oh, the weekend was absolutely fabulous. My fantasy football team was doing extremely well. And I'm keeping a very unique streak. As you know, I'm in 27 different season-long leagues, and it's pretty amazing. But as of now, they all have a winning record. I don't have any undefeated teams. I don't have any teams that have just one loss or less. But every single one is still winning. And so that's an accomplishment I've never done before. I'm hoping that I can continue it. So that went really well, and a lot of great things happened that we got to talk about this weekend. Some really bad things, but enough of the Jets and Cowboys. We'll get to that later. But it was nice to see Christian McCaffrey coming back home, Howard, and nice to see him healthy playing for the people that drafted the first overall last year.
Somebody booked it. Yeah, that definitely was a big moment there to see Christian McCaffrey return to the field. And, you know, he didn't light it up. You know, but like the Christian McCaffrey of vintage yore. But I mean, listen, we got some really nice work out of him, and a promise of good things to come for Christian McCaffrey. You know, on the other side there, we were also supposed to get Nico Collins back from IR, but the Texans opted to sit him for Sunday Night Football. I mean, they didn't activate him until Friday, and I actually just wrote my article over at rtsports.com, a weekly vendor, talking about how many people. It's amazing to me, Jim. It really is amazing to me. We talk about this all the time, that if you've got a guy who's banged up, who's injured, maybe he's returning from injured reserve, or just maybe returning from a one-game absence, whatever the case may be, and he's listed as questionable, and he's playing on Sunday Night Football or Monday Night Football, because we can talk about this with Tyreek Hill as well. Or tonight, he's questionable with a wrist injury, and they're talking about him being a game-time decision tonight. That people just don't have a pivot. Like, how do you put, as important as Week 10 is in the fantasy realm, and maybe it's you trying to punch your ticket to the big dance for the playoffs, or you're trying to improve your seeding for the playoffs. But in Week 10, super important to not have a pivot. I mean, I don't know. To me, that's amateur hour. That's, you know, you want to risk taking a zero? That's got to be one of the dumbest things I've seen in fantasy circles. It blows me away, and it's still a problem.
Yeah, and I've always been on that end with you. Like, I just like helping players, and I don't like getting zeros because it's really hard to beat anyone that's good to zeros. Now, I do want to, as you mentioned, Tyreek Hill, I want to go there because, you know, yesterday morning, I was doing the MLB radio show, and Jim Duquette co-anchors that show with me, and he asked me the question about Tyreek Hill. Now, this was in the morning. It was before the 1 o'clock game started. And I said to him, look, I think there's a good chance he plays, but I will say this. If I had an option of someone that could at least hold his own, I would probably not start Tyreek because I don't like the risk. I would feel better if they told me he's going to start. Now, if you have another option, or if you have someone on Monday night that you can pivot to at the last minute, fine. But to get a zero, I think it's a mistake. Now, My understanding from Adam Schefter the last hour, Tyreek is probably going to play. But I think when you're at that point on Sunday, if your only other alternative is playing at 1 o'clock, I think it would have been a bad call. You can't control what's going to happen, and I would hate to lose a week because you waited for Tyreek and he didn't play, or he played one play and got hurt again. So I lean towards conservatism. It's worked well for me over the years, and I'm going to continue to preach that. And it doesn't always work, and it may not work tonight, but I think it was the right call.
I think it was the right call as well. I mean, I dealt with a number of questions coming in over the weekend. Do I start player X or Nico Collins? Do I start player Y or Tyreek Hill? And my answer is always the same. Do you have a pivot? You know, I mean, listen, if you were dealing with Nico Collins, then you were probably looking at, on the waiver wire, Xavier Hutchinson, John Mechie, who got into the end zone for his first career touchdown. Right? Robert Woods, definitely a possibility there. You could have gone on the Detroit side and used somebody like Khalif Raymond. You know, even all you needed to do also look for the Monday night game and see. You know, listen, obviously Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua are owned already, and I'm sure Demarcus Robinson is probably owned in many circles as well. But there are obvious pivots off of that. You know, grab yourself Tutu Atwell. And, you know, if you have to do it, you have to do it. You know, I was saying to somebody, I think I said it to Coop on the Sunday morning show, that and I'll just kind of splash it out there. If Tyreek didn't play, I have a couple of leagues where I do have Tyreek Hill, and I ended up making sure that I picked up a pivot Saturday night going into the Sunday games to make sure. You know who it was? Come on, take kids. Oh, no, I can shoot there.
Oh, really?
But let's,
okay.
I mean, well, let's figure that out. Because if Tyreek is out, who's going to be there? You've got Jalen Waddle. Cedric Wilson, I believe, is banged up. Odell Beckham, right? Revenge game narrative going up against the Rams.
Yeah, that's the perfect pivot. Yeah. Yes, very smart on your part. Absolutely love it. And now you'll be able to make that decision in an hour. And you're probably going to start Tyreek, which is even better. But to have that possible pivot last minute, love that call out. Very, very smart.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. Like, people, you have to learn these lessons. It's very, you know, I mean, we talk about certain things like all the time. We talk about not putting a Thursday night football guy into your flex spot, because in case something does happen, like for example, a guy like shows up on your injury report on Friday. Well, if you've gummed up your flex position by using a Thursday night player, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage. You're limiting your roster flexibility. You're limiting your options. And, you know, we talk about things like that all the time, and yet time and time again, over and over, we see the same mistakes being made by people. And, you know, it's just something that we're not trying to belittle you or demean you for. We're trying to help you be a better fantasy player and making these adjustments, talking about things like handcuffing specific running backs, not using a Thursday night player in your flex position, having a pivot for an injured guy on a Sunday night or a Monday night football game. Like, these are basics. They should be basics for everybody. And I know there are some people out there who are like, thanks, we know this already. There are so many people out there who don't, and I answer their questions all the time on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram. I got people hitting me up on TikTok asking these same questions. And it's like, you know, listen, my comments have character limit. Tell you, have yourself a Monday night pivot. I might have to just, you know what I might have to do, Jim? I might have to write a book. I might have to just write a little handbook for like fantasy football for dummies or something like that. Because it's these basic things that maybe we sometimes here on the channel take for granted, that a lot of people just don't follow suit. They don't understand the necessity behind it. I think it's problematic. If Tyreek doesn't play tonight, there are going to be so many people who are going to be like, oh no, I can't believe we're going to zero. You only got yourself to blame.
And so one of the things is that there are a lot of people that are listening that do know, and they know what they're supposed to do, and then on Sunday mornings they don't execute, right? They don't make the effort. So one of the things that I started doing, and as you know, I do a radio show 10 to 1, but I started doing this where at 12:30, anybody that wants to join my, text group, we text at 12:30 p.m. every Sunday to go over all the players that are out, all the players that are still questionable, and so that everybody makes sure that you have the time to execute. You have the time to make a pivot. You have the time to make a move. And I've told people, you got to be there. You got to be there at 12:30. It's going to be a quick, easy text. But anybody that, any of my friends, family, they'll want to have that process. So teaching people, execute. You got to have the time. And I tell people, I hear people say, well, I didn't check my email, so I didn't know. Really? Then put a time every day where you're checking your emails, right? Because we can all come up with ideas. We can all come up with concepts. But if you don't execute, good ideas don't matter if you can't execute it. If you know to pivot and you don't do it, then it doesn't matter that you knew.
Yeah, absolutely. Execution, it's more than half the battle, for sure. So, I mean, listen, that's just, and what I'm hoping for, again, rtsports.com, I'll tweet out the weekly bender. It's just one of those things that it's just, it's a little mind-numbing to me. It really is, because a lot of people, I mean, unless this is the very first time that you've ever played fantasy football, these are things that you should know. These are definitely things that you should know. So we'll talk more about that. We have so much ground to cover here on today's show, with so many things that went down in week number 10. And you know what, by the way, also I just want to give a special shout out here, obviously, for Veterans Day. And shout out to all the veterans out there who are listening here on the show, to the channel, who take part in all the leagues. We've often done a military appreciation league. My boy Tim Matthews, the Carolina Reaper, he's my partner in the Pros with Joes. So you know what? Hug a vet today, everybody. Make sure that you give some acknowledgement.
I would hug you right now with the driver.
Thank you for their service. And everything that goes along with that. So I just want to give that quick shout out here, because we got so much other stuff to talk about. It's Jukebox Monday. We're going to spin the hits. We're going to play our dedications. We're going to talk about fantasy's biggest bummers from this week. There are a lot. There are definitely a lot. And then, of course, we'll break down tonight's Monday Night Football game, the Miami Dolphins against the Los Angeles Rams. I mean, come on, Tyreek Hill, possibly. Devon Achane, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua. I mean, this is going to be a definite hot one here. We've got all the work done over at fantasyalarm.com. Dan Malin's got the showdown write-up. Mark Lambie's got a best bets and prop bets article for all of this. John and Pemba's got underdog plays, prize pick plays, everything that you could possibly want for tonight's action. So stay with us. Obviously, also give us a shout, 888-963-2682. If you got some start-sit questions for tonight, we don't do chances to win. I don't believe in doing chances to win, and I saved that for the folks over at RotoWire. You know what your chances are to win. Whether I have any say in it or whether I don't have any say in it. So whether I tell you you've got a 10% chance of winning or a 100% chance of winning, it don't mean anything until the players play on the field. But we can help you with some start sits if you got a question there. Like, is it Puka Nacua or is it Cooper Kupp tonight? Who knows that one here? When you guys do call up or tweet us at SiriusXM Fantasy, it's November 11th. It's 11/11. Make a wish. What's your big wish here for fantasy, for the NFL season? What do you got going on here? What's something that, I mean, I obviously wish that everybody would learn the lesson of having a Monday night pivot to your players here. But, obviously there are some other wishes out there. Jim, if I could grant you, if I'm a big blue genie and I'm dancing around because you're just rubbing my lamp, what are you wishing for, Jim? What do you got?
I am wishing that the Cowboys are fortunate enough to be able to draft Travis Hunter in the first round of the 2025 draft, and Mike McCarthy is relieved his duties and replaced by either Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson or Notre Dame's head coach Marcus Freeman. That is the wish I would like to have happen. I hope Jerry and Stephen Jones are listening. I hope that the football gods allow the Cowboys to be able to pick Travis Hunter, that he's there when it's their time to pick, and we get a young, energetic coach that can be the long-term answer. The Tom Landry or the Jimmy Johnson of the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys organization deserves an impact long-term head coach. Marcus Freeman would be perfect. Ben Johnson would be great as well.
All right, so Jim wishing for that complete overhaul of the Dallas Cowboys. So problematic there. Dak Prescott has season-ending surgery. Cooper Rush looks absolutely disgusting. Your team is definitely raising the white flag. There's no doubt about that. So that's definitely something that we're gonna have to pay attention to. All right. Again, the number is 888-963-2682. What is your big wish for either the fantasy or the NFL season? I've got mine. Shan's got hers. Faith has hers. We'll share them all as we go through it. When we come back, let's do some recapping for NFL Week 10. Let's do it with song. Howard Bender, the GM Jim Bowden. You got Jukebox Monday coming up next on the Fantasy Alarm Show, Sirius XM, Fantasy Sports Radio.
To truly go inside the game of pro football, you need to see things from the player's perspective.
Let's go.
Every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, catch the Player's Point. Join NFL tight end Colin Thompson and Packers running back A.J. Dillon as they break down the biggest stories in the NFL.
Hand off A.J. Dillon, powering his way. Touchdown.
The Player's Point. Every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, only on Sirius XM NFL Radio Channel 88 and the Sirius XM app.
This act furnished by Nesma Tattoo LLC. Offer not valid in all states or prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Great. Maxed out cards, rent is due, bills are piling up. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
We should do what my brother did. He went to GotLoans.com and got $3,000.
With our bad credit?
GotLoans.com is different. They're one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000.
I'm sure there's a lot of paperwork.
Nope. My brother said it was fast and easy. He did it right from his phone.
If you have a regular source of income, you can be approved for a loan of up to $5,000 in minutes, and your cash can hit your bank account as soon as the next day. Our lenders have millions of dollars to lend regardless of your credit history.
Great news. I went to GotLoans.com and we'll have our money as soon as tomorrow.
Wow, that is fast.
If you need extra cash, go to GotLoans.com. That's GotLoans.com. GotLoans.com.
Howard Bender from FantasyAlarm.com here. I don't mean to be a buzzkill, but you still have a lot of work to do before becoming a fantasy football champion this year. It's a long season, and your opponents aren't going to just hand you the trophy. You need to stay sharp, and you need to play like a champion all season long. That's where Fantasy Alarm's All-Pro comes in. All-Pro gives you everything you need to win your league, including rankings, waiver wire targets, trade analyzers, start-sit advice, even one-on-one access with our analysts so you can get your questions answered about your teams each week. All-Pro keeps things simple and fun. It's as easy to use as it is awesome. After all, you want to win, but you want to also have fun, right? So go All-Pro and join the family today. Visit FantasyAlarm.com/All-Pro and start a free 7-day trial. That's FantasyAlarm.com/All-Pro because, well, when you go All-Pro, you'll not only get help from the pros, you'll win with the pros all season long.
Paul Kelly here. This fantasy football season, you need to make sure you score the most fantasy points. Easy enough, right? Maybe not, but it is if you're listening to Fantasy Football Morning presented by Fantasy Points.
Brock Bowers is going to be the #1 receiver for the Las Vegas Raiders, and if you have him, congratulations.
Brock Bowers, first career NFL touchdown.
Fantasy Football Morning presented by Fantasy Points. Weekdays at 7 a.m. Eastern on Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio, Channel 87, and on the Sirius XM app.
Did you miss anything from a jam-packed Sunday in fantasy football? Hear the Fantasy Football Roundup anytime on the SiriusXM app. Just search Roundup.
Here's what's happening on SiriusXM.
The NHL is on SiriusXM as Sidney Crosby and Pittsburgh Penguins play host to the Dallas Stars this evening. Tune in to SiriusXM NHL Network Radio Channel 91 beginning at 7 Eastern in the car and anytime on the all-new SiriusXM app. What should we play in the jukebox?
Ooh, how about A3?
Hey, tonight I'm here on the Fantasy Alarm Show. As always, we like to dedicate songs to all the things that just went down over the weekend in sports. Jim, why'd you show them how it's done?
I'd love to show you how it's done, Howard, and we get to the point where we do that. So my first song is going to be dedicated to Cooper Rush, the quarterback of America's team, the Dallas Cowboys. And yesterday, his performance was what you're doing, but this is the early morning. Maybe we're just trying to tank. Maybe we're trying to lose all the games so we can get Travis Hunter.
Maybe you are. Maybe you are. By the way, I love the fact that you were doing the air bass guitar right there. Slumming the bass, man.
In my pajamas on top of the couch. How did you know?
All right, my first song dedication here. This was going out to the Denver Broncos. I'll tell you what, man. You guys were hanging tough. There's no doubt about it. It was a close one there for sure. But in the end, the Chiefs come away with a continued undefeated record. It was right there. The blocked field goal.
girlfriend a Washington Commanders fan?
No.
Okay,
He is
so-
a Ravens fan.
A Raiders fan?
A Ravens fan. And she supports, long as Pittsburgh isn't playing the Ravens, she 100% supports him and his team.
Where's she at? She ain't there today.
Oh, she's there.
And I got some hate and books.
Or when is she gonna let him have it on the radio?
Right? They all said, oh, yeah. They didn't say
Let me have it.
Oh, how did you not
Probably let me have it, right?
Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry. Okay, I hate it. You know, I was wrong. I get it. But let me tell you, to all the people that do that hate, okay? I'm going to tell you one thing real quick. I want you to listen. Turn the radio. Pull over. Turn the radio. Last 5 games, the number 1 running back in fantasy football is Bijan Robinson. There is no second, third, or fourth. He is number 1. 22 to 30 points every single week, 5 weeks in a row. And this is the moment where I could say I told you so, but I'm a humble man. I don't do that, okay? I'm not that kind of guy. All I'm going to say for all of you is run for cover. You're the Killers.
Gotta hold it together. When you're sitting there on the defensive line, you can't jump off sides like that. Think about what that game could have been for Washington. Washington, who's now lost, or who beat the Bears on a Hail Mary. Now they turn out and they lose on this last play of the game because their linemen can't play properly. It just blows me away. Shout out to all my Steelers peeps out there.
I know, and they weren't even, Russell Wilson wasn't going to hype the ball instead of the game. They were just trying to get him to jump off sides, and they did, and that was the game. Like, that cannot happen in the NFL. And you know what that play will be remembered as? The play that gave the Eagles in the NFC East. So, congrats to flying, the Eagles flying, and the Commanders. Okay, so now, look, it's really hard for those of us that love football and are fans of a particular team, or the Sooners don't know about the Browns, kind of thing. One of the things that we love to do in the fall is root for our teams, and it makes you feel good on Sunday when your team has a chance to win and does win, and it feels really good. But when you go through a year like Howard has for 25 years, and like I have this year, it's really tough to sit there, get excited about your game, and you get there and you lose within the first 30 seconds of the game. It's really hard. But one of the things that helps is that there's football, because my son Chad is the general manager of Notre Dame football with Marcus Freeman. Obviously, I'm a big Notre Dame fan for them because of him. And so on Saturday, 7:30 Saturday night, I watched the Florida State game, and they won 56-3, which put them in a position where it looks like they're going to make the college football playoffs as long as they can win out. So it was pretty exciting. So for my son Chad and for Marcus Freeman, the ours, I wanted to dedicate a song, and I thought,
waiting me being like, oh, you lost me on the Gasicki, on fading Gasicki. Well, and I turned around here, being the nice guy that I am, right? And I told everybody, we heard it in the open of the show. I said it over and over again. I think I said it on Friday. I said it on Thursday. I said it again on Sunday morning. Do not use Cade Otton. This is not a good matchup for him going up against the San Francisco 49ers. I talked to you about Devondre Campbell. I talked to you about Fred Warner. And I told you that that was what the 49ers were going to focus on because of all the targets going Cade Otton's way. And what happened? What did Cade Otton do? 5 catches, 35 yards, did not get a single catch in the entire second half of that game. So, for those of you out there who want to doubt the tight end whisperer, the OG tight end whisperer, or the new tight end whisperer in Coop as well, you just know that every single time you doubt it, I'm going to give you the I told you so. I told you so. Fantasy Alarm Show, Sirius XM, Fantasy Sports Radio.
Quiet your mind, reduce your stress, and rest easy with channels designed to help you fall asleep easier and
Stadium from now on. CeeDee Lamb in particular had some troubles.
Yeah, I've never understood how you can build a stadium.
Someone hit missing a kick or something.
Have the sun be directly in the eye.
No,
You've seen this
you
every
build
year.
the stadium
This isn't a surprise.
so that
And
when
so why don't you
either
fix it?
when it's
By the way, just put up a curtain.
sets,
And you put the curtain up when the sun gets
regardless of
there.
whether you're going
And then when the
either
sun
way,
leaves that
the
area,
sun gets in
you
your
open the
face
curtain
depending
back
on
up.
which way you're
Like,
going.
it's not that hard,
So,
but if you don't execute the
there's
idea,
no way for you to close it
doesn't
to
get
block the
done.
sun.
Mistakes happen. Thanks for bringing it up, Howard.
CeeDee Lamb said he missed a couple balls because the sun
After all the years as a long-suffering Jets fan, and then hearing everything that's going on with you, I have to needle you. Just
Hey, I deserve it. And look, I'm not the kind of guy that would bring up a year ago the Jets were 4-5 under Zach Wilson at quarterback. So,
I appreciate you not being that guy. That's very, very kind of you. Very, very kind of you so much. All right, well, so the sun is a huge bummer for the Dallas Cowboys, particularly CeeDee Lamb, and the Jets are a huge bummer for me. Well, let's talk about some other fantasy bummers here. Some just real disappointment. And I mean, we can actually we can kind of use this moment here right now to talk about the Jets and Aaron Rodgers, because I don't want to listen. Sam Darnold, 3 interceptions were awful. Kirk Cousins may have thrown for 300 yards, but still threw a pick, and there was just no passing game involved over there against the depleted and should have been defeated Saints team. That was brutal. But Aaron Rodgers, Jim, 151 yards, and I mean, it was just fumbles, errant throws, just an absolute nightmare of a game in which, and I tell you this, like the Arizona pass defense ranked 24th in DVOA against the pass. They have been terrible throughout the season. We've seen quarterbacks carve them up on the regular. And there's Aaron Rodgers, Jim.
So, in the league I'm in, they granted Rodgers 4 points at quarterback. Rush was -2. Yeah. So, at least he was better than Cooper Rush. Sam Darnold had his worst start with 3 interceptions, and he doubled what Aaron Rodgers. But I can't say to make you feel better, but I will say this. The minute they got Rodgers, you didn't want him. The minute they got Rodgers, you said it wasn't going to work. The minute you got Rodgers, you were ready for the next quarterback. And so, it's okay for you to be upset, but also take a bow because, this isn't a surprise. But I'll tell you what was a surprise. You want to talk about bummers. For those people that have shares of Saquon Barkley, how in the world, 14 carries, 66 yards, 1 catch, 1 yard. How in the world do you not have a game plan where you just give it to him? I mean, I know Jalen Hurts can do his thing, and A.J. Brown had no one covering him because Carson had no idea how to cover A.J. Brown. Look, I understand that, but you're in a game where you blew him out early. There's so much garbage. Like, why didn't you just beat Barkley? Because if you beat him this 2 or 3 more times, 66 yards would have become 130 in a hurry with 2 touchdowns. Like, just give him the football. Like, Mike Sirianni in a blowout doesn't know how to coach. His team is great, and they're going to win the NFC East, and they're going to be a threat in the playoffs. But, wow, I mean, I don't blame Barkley's performance on Barkley. I blame it on the coaching staff in the game where just give him the football and everything would have been roses.
Well, I kind of wondered about that, and I opined that maybe Kellen Moore was sending a message to Dallas saying, you guys can't stop the run. I can still beat you without running the football too. And you saw the passing work that happened there, and Jalen Hurts with his rushing touchdowns, the push. I mean, this was Kellen Moore just carving up Dallas without his best weapon in Saquon Barkley. That was the only thing that I could think of was a possibility there. That was a huge bummer. You know what? DeAndre Swift. Everybody's in on DeAndre Swift. He's the greatest. And Howard, you're so wrong about him. Where was he against New England? I get it. The offensive line for Chicago definitely banged up, but come on. I mean, New England? Really? DeAndre Swift? And he only caught 1 pass for 6 yards. Why in the world are you not, dumping it off to him? Because Caleb Williams is looking terrible. And if Caleb Williams, who took 9 sacks in this game, Like, how are you not setting up a screen outlet of DeAndre Swift every single time? Every single time. As soon as you get in trouble, Caleb, dump it off to Swift. Guaranteed works. Didn't work.
So, a few years ago, I was a DeAndre Swift guy, right? I love the potential, I love the talent. And then you started banging the drum, and you kept saying, food communicates people. You said, look, he's going to have 3 or 4 really good games, and then he's not going to give you anything. That's what he does, and you can't win with him and he's wrong. And so you go back and you look at your premise, you look at your narrative, you study the facts, and all the facts back up exactly as you laid it out. So when we look at DeAndre Swift, no one's arguing with talent. Look, we all know that in week 4 he put up 22.
You don't see them very often.
Right? We all know that before the bye he put up 17, after the bye he but you create, week 1, 5 points, week 2, 4.2, week 3, 4.2. To this week, 6-5, week 4, 8-2. There it is. Okay? So you're not going to win. You're not going to win season long with him. You can't win with 50% of the games he's not giving you any points. So, yeah, it's a bummer, but it's only a bummer if you were dumb enough to put him on your team when Howard Bender on this show repeatedly, clearly, for 2 years, has told you what he's going to do before he did it. He has carried out exactly the narrative that Howard laid out. I don't feel sorry for him. You know how many shares of DeAndre Swift I have this year? 0. Proud of it. I listen to the Swift Whisperer.
There you go. Very well. I think the Swift Whisperer share. Well, that's a different Swift. Totally different Swift.
Love that.
All right.
I got you, Taylor.
We'll cover some more bummers. We'll take some phone calls. Get your reactions. Get your questions in. I see a bunch of start sits that need to be answered there. So I'll tell you what, we'll take a time out here. When we come back, we'll get to those phone calls, but also get some intriguing news here about Tyreek Hill's wrist, what you might want to expect tonight's action. Howard Bender, GM Jim Bowden, it's Fantasy Alarm, Sirius XM, Fantasy Sports Radio.
Never a blue Christmas here.
George Kittle, touchdown! San Francisco!
Yes, Howard. You have to carry me on this one. I was expecting a different audio there.
I could definitely give you help on this one here. George Kittle looked absolutely spectacular. Hanging out in the men's room over there. That was an absolute beautiful, beautiful catch by George Kittle. We switch over to the Buffalo Bills taking on the Indianapolis Colts. Now, this game really wasn't very much in doubt, although I do think that Buffalo's game plan, or the Colts blew the game plan, is really what it came down to. They could have had a better shot in this one here. They should have had a better shot in this one as well. But when it all came down to it, in order to take that lead, a lead that they would not relinquish for the rest of the game, Buffalo obviously relies on their main man, Josh Allen. Allen in the shotgun. Here's the snap. And off. No, it's a keeper for Allen through the left side. 10, 5, and he's into the end zone for the touchdown. The beast has been released. A 13-yard touchdown run by Allen.
Yeah, look, Josh Allen has been very
Has been
consistent
released.
as a top 5 quarterback in fantasy this year. But, you know, before the season started, I took Lamar Jackson over Josh Allen. And I felt like the loss of Stephon Diggs would be felt. I didn't know they'd be able to trade for Amari Cooper at some point. So now I feel better about Allen here. But look, I love what he does. There's no doubt about it. He's averaged 20 points there, and only Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, Baker Mayfield, Joe Burrow rank higher, Jaden Daniels right behind him. But Josh Allen is consistent. He's there. I think people overdraft him by a round. But at the end of the day, he's always going to deliver. And I think the acquisition of Amari Cooper puts it back in that conversation as potentially the best quarterback for the remainder of the regular season. I think that's what he was missing to start the year, and I think that's why he ranks 5th instead of 1st.
You gotta get in there first.
I'm Jim.
You are, Jim. You are. I've seen you play Frank for Halloween. Great costume, by the way.
Thank you.
We go to Los Angeles. The Chargers. How about the surprising Los Angeles Chargers? 6-3. They're 3-1 at home. They beat up on the Tennessee Titans 27-17. There are two very surprising things going on with the Chargers right now. 2 out of the last 3 weeks, Justin Herbert has been running with the football more. That has been an impressive thing that's also giving him added value in fantasy.
Message 127. Important proceed today at 3:49 p.m. safety. Message 227. Important proceed today at 3:16 p.m. for external getting.
Herbert, looking, throwing for Quentin. Caught, touchdown! Herbert to Johnston, 16 yards, and Quentin gets in again.
Yeah, he does. And look, when he was drafted, I wasn't a fan in the first round. I didn't like the drops. I didn't like the lack of separation. But he does have a elite quarterback. And let's give a player credit when he starts to develop. And he has developed. And he's becoming a better player. And he's one to watch. Now, you can slow the roll a little bit. I mean, let's be realistic. Only twice has he had 11 points or more. So let's not get into this point where, oh, he's the answer and he's a long-term success story. But there's no doubt we have to look at him and understand this isn't the same guy that was drafted. This is not the same guy that we saw a year ago. And he's getting better. And that happens. Players develop. And one of the things that we always stress on this show is that players like the stock market, value's going to go up, it's going to go down. You got to pay attention to why they go up and they go down, and you got to figure if you believe or not believe. Now, am I going to sit there and play in the DFS this week? No, I'm not. Am I necessarily going to draft them next year? No, but I will promise you one thing. I will be watching every one of his games the rest of the way with an open mind and see if what we saw this past Sunday is something that he can do on a consistent basis, and then I'll evaluate when the season's over.
Makes sense. Makes good sense. You're probably not going to like this next highlight here, Jim, but we've got to go down to Dallas. Philadelphia Eagles whoop your Cowboys at home, 34-6. Cowboys with another brutal loss at home. I don't mean to you know, say brutal so many times and rub it in here, but I'll tell you what, I was wondering why Saquon Barkley wasn't being used. And then somebody reminded me that the Philadelphia Eagles are playing Thursday night against Washington, so maybe he was getting saved. Maybe Devonta Smith was getting saved, because apparently the Philadelphia Eagles looked at the Dallas Cowboys and said, we can beat these guys with anybody out there on the field. Touchdown pass to her returning Dallas Goddard. And then here's the question, Jim, who the hell is Johnny Wilson?
Hurts back. Hurts looking. Hurts still looking. Still looking. Hurts is starting to run. Now he fires. Complete. Touchdown. This time it goes to Johnny Wilson. His first touchdown in the NFL.
So who is Johnny Wilson? He was born in Los Angeles, California. He was born April 3rd, 2001. Okay. He played college football for Arizona State and also for the Florida State Seminoles. Who is he? He is a guy that this year, and this is kind of an interesting statistic, has been targeted 7 times and has 2 catches. One came against the Dallas Cowboys and one came against the New Orleans Saints. That's who Johnny Wilson is. Any team that has a secondary that can cover a receiver would make him have 0 receptions in his targets. But when you play Dallas and you play New Orleans, that you have a chance for a statistical anomaly.
He is who we thought he was.
Johnny Wilson. I do like his throw, I'll be honest. I like the height. He's 6'6". He weighs 230 pounds. And he went to Calabasas High School. And Calabasas, of course, with Dennis Gilbert is from out there in California. This kid has good makeup. He's a smart guy. And I'm happy that he got to play a team as bad as the Cowboys so he could actually make a catch.
How about Fletch? 6'5", 6'9" with the afro. Gotta love that one for sure. Last highlight here. We go to Sunday Night Football. The Detroit Lions, they walk away 8-1 after a 26-23 victory over the Houston Texans. This game was all Houston to start it off. Jared Goff looked absolutely atrocious in this game. He threw 5 interceptions. Second half, though, I don't know where the Houston Texans went, but it was all Detroit. David Montgomery got into the end zone to start off in the 3rd quarter, and then in the 4th quarter, boom, the comeback officially happened with Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Goff takes the snap, takes the handoff, swings it out right side, caught by St. Brown, runs across the 5, into the end zone, touchdown Lions! Amon-Ra St. Brown with his 7th touchdown catch of the year.
Remember the touchdown tied it up? Yeah, I don't know what happened.